Compound. A couple of coaches talking through infinite banking for you. I want to give my first opportunity. We're not live everywhere yet. We'll probably be on TikTok in just a second. So who is my friend out there on the Zoom? I would love to know if you can give us a shout and let us know your name or where you're calling in from. Are you already working with us? Friend or foe? Are you able to use the chat? If you want to use the chat, that's cool.
Foe could be fun. Friend would be nice.
Keep your enemies closer than your friends, right?
Good
Friends
point.
close, enemies closer. So if you are able out there on the iPhone, please let us know who and where you are. We want to give first connection to the folks who have. What's up? Now, how do you say that? Cesare?
I saw her in our Facebook group. So just
cool.
recently
Welcome
added to the Facebook group.
Welcome.
Glad to see you on. Will tagged her.
She said close enough. Is it a she? So you have talked to her?
No, haven't talked.
Oh.
Haven't talked. Just saw the Facebook post.
No, it
just
said male. It said male.
I'm sorry. Again, just recently.
Yeah, apologize. And I'm sure you get it all the time. We're always in a world of social connection. It is tough to know how to say people's name, what handle they actually, male or female. If you're not looking at a picture, all that stuff. All right, cool. Now, Big C. I'm gonna go with that.
Well, I like it.
Big C. Do you already have a policy? Are you practicing infinite banking? How'd you hear about us? All that type of stuff. We will give you precedence. In a minute, I'll probably jack up the volume, quote unquote, the volume on TikTok. But lots of people get up there and they could run us over. So I'm going to give you some. We were getting a 1 or 2 minute. Late start. So since you're here, tell us what's good. If you're able to text. Oh, man. Okay. You've got a mentor here, and let me get the chat up in a better place. Okay. Bama. You have a mentor in Bama, no policy. Who's your mentor? I know 3 to 4 Alabamans. Sometimes it's Alabamian, but I think it's Alabamans. I know 3 or 4
Birmingham's kind of the hub,
right, of the IBC spirit in Birmingham for sure. My friends are close to there. I've got Russ, Joey, Nolan.
Wealth Without Wall Street.
Russ and Joey. Jack. I don't know if I know Jack. You don't know Jack. Cool. Okay. Well, I'm gonna crank up. I'm gonna go ahead and crank up.
But you said no policy, so good time to put in any questions if you have any.
Let's do it.
Love to answer those for you.
And we'll get a couple of our friends to join us over here on TikTok as well. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So where should we start then? We didn't come in today. I didn't come in with a strong agenda. What were you recording about earlier, Jesse? Or tell us your story here.
I've been working on a few different series when it comes to podcasting and YouTubing as far as popular, famous financial quotes, whether it's my quick take on some certain thing. Today I covered a common question where people ask, well, what should I do with my money? And I started with that. So
Love it. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what I've been doing. Lately, I have been very busy in the office. Jesse's even been in the office keeping me company a little bit. My brother was out, and he was overseas for a while on a vacay. So I have been taking lots of calls, doing lots of lives. But the latest kind of series, you could say, that I've been doing, campaign is probably a better word, is the Financial Family Forums. Mm-hmm. I've done about 4 or 5 different group calls where I'm helping an extended family, probably several adults, cousins, as well as grandma or in-laws, understand how the infinite banking process can raise their family standard of living. Mm-hmm. And flow through each of the family members. So the money that comes in from them working hard, working jobs, doing their thing, never leaves their family. It's been I love it. We've talked about it a lot, and we've, to varying degrees of success, have been able to start multiple policies in our family branches. But Jesse, 2 different of these calls had over 7 people on it, like grown people, an Ohio family, as well as a Florida family. Most people are in the same area, but not all the time. Florida? I'm not sure where. Kathy, with a C. I don't remember where her family's from. Tennessee. I think she's in Tennessee, so maybe everybody was in Tennessee.
Awesome.
Okay, shout out to everybody on TikTok. The Cash Compound crew is here. We've got Coach Jesse and Jay back to help you answer questions about infinite banking, how to do it, how to use it, how to lose it, how to abuse it, whatever. We'll help you from making those mistakes, some of the which we made probably in our early days, trying to understand this concept in our brain first before getting it literally on paper, a policy from a mutual insurance company, and using the real money that we pulled out of Cup 2. Okay, so Jack, we're here for you. Your mentee, I don't know how to say his name other than Big C. YouTube, what's up to our YouTube channel family out there, the Cash Compound there as well. And remember, we go live 3:30 Eastern time all across the country, because you can sign up for this on our website for the Zoom event. And if we decide, which half the time we do, decide to show slides and give concepts visually, you're going to see them there. And then we like to go live on a couple of other platforms at the same time. But that's what we do week to week. So if you're here for the first time, put a double tap on the screen for me on TikTok. Like, love, or learn something, I want to see a double tap and a heart. I think there might be bunnies right now. If you haven't done it in a while, I think it might be an Easter bunny that pops up. There it is. I love it. Happy Easter to you guys. Don't worry. Sunday's coming. Sunday is coming. Praise God for that. Okay. Jesse.
Yeah, man.
Where do we go from here? What's up, April?
What I would add is, you've been doing some virtual family forums, financial family forums, which is really cool. I was sharing with you how over the past couple of weeks I've been doing some live events with different groups, whether it was networkers or entrepreneurs.
You have
or
to say
local
in person,
business
because
owners.
this is live. But
Right,
you meant in person.
In person.
Because this is live virtual. We've
True.
messed that up around the office
True.
before. We've got to, it's virtual and in person.
In person.
Because they're all live. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
That's a good point. I guess I was just trying to say we've kind of been doing a lot of everything. We have one-on-one calls today that we've been
and
having.
you and I have been doing our best to hold down the fort while some other people
been having a good time. Overseas.
And another one of our coaches, he's in a position right now where he's not taking as many calls. He's got a different shift set up here. So Coach Robert, a lot of you know him out there traditionally. If you're here not for the first time, you've probably bumped into Coach Rob. But we've been doing a lot of all sorts of things, helping people understand how they can use this system. But earlier today, we had a pretty healthy conversation. What I mean by that is I talked a lot, so I feel healthy about it, of reminding people what the problem is. Infinite banking.
Cardiovascular workout.
Yeah, you got to get it in, right? There's aerobic and anaerobic, and this was anaerobic exercise. Okay, so what I was saying earlier today, though, is I'm having more of an epiphany lately, as a lot of people who are learning the term infinite banking but not learning what it is. What they are getting stuck on is how the answer is solving the problem, because they don't understand what the problem is. Okay. So, Jesse, how would you describe the problem that infinite banking is solving? Let's go there today.
Yeah, the idea of noticing it. When you hear people talking about shaving, for example, and then they actually take a moment and realize, oh, I have a nose there on my face that I shave every day, which I don't. I'm not shaving every day, obviously. But you see what I'm saying? Our nose is on our faces, and we can just take it for granted or overlook it when it's there. So the problem that everybody faces is that everything is financed with credit or with cash. Everything's financed. And what we teach people is that you could actually save and spend your money at the same time.
I love it. So Nelson Nash's book is what's going to uncover the problem for you. Click the link in the bio if you want to follow along. And in our link tree on our Cash Compound website, thecashcompound.com, or here, you're going to find that book. And Nelson Nash is reminding us what the problem is. Jesse defined it as this: you're financing everything you buy. What he did not say is what I'll add on. So that means if you use cash or credit, those were the two options, right? Okay, if you use cash, you work hard, you stack your rack of dollars, and then you pay for something, you go down to zero.
Gone.
It's the money is gone. Now, you've never thought of that as a problem. I sure didn't, because I was a Dave Ramsey guy. Like, I wasn't financing purchases with credit, but I didn't realize that cash was also a form of financing.
Yes.
It's the pool from which my money came from. You have to finance something. So where'd you get the money? What was it doing there? What could it have done there if you didn't use it and lose it to trade for whatever you wanted? So financing is always happening, even if you use cash. We got to say that.
Because you still make payments somewhere.
You just made one big payment for your thing, right? Let's say if that was cash. Now, here's what people know for sure. Wherever you are, we understand that if you use credit, if you use OPM, someone else's money, you're going to have to pay for it. We all knew that, and now you'll have to pay them interest on top of you have to give them their money back, right? So if you borrow someone else's money, you have to pay for it. We understand that's a form of finance, but what we miss is that you're still financing with your own money because it's now gone. And if there's no money coming back and there's no interest coming back, you just lost the earning ability, the power, the leverage of that money forever.
Mm-hmm.
If we can help people understand that, then we can get into how great infinite banking is. Infinite banking is the use of a pool of funds from a mutual insurance company's life insurance policy with your name on it. You own it, you control it, but your money, cup number 1, where you've placed premium, that has purchased cup number 3 death benefit, allows you more and more access to that capital in advance of dying, called cash value. Now we can save our money, spend someone else's. This pool is liquid. We can use it, you lose it or abuse it, and our money is just fine. How else can we describe that, Jesse? How do you feel about that? Is that a good way for people to understand? Do you think they got it?
It's a great way for them to get it. Whether they got it, they can let us know what their specific questions are in the comment section, of course. But yeah, it's a private piece of property that you pick the number that you want to capitalize with. You pick how much goes in that cup number 1. I don't tell you that number. You don't tell them the number. They pick that number. So it's something that fits for you, wherever you happen to be right now. It automatically generates this death benefit, which we all know and recognize about a whole life policy. But then because we've built it this way for our clients, it has a significant amount of cash value right out of the gate. The lion's share of that premium we were talking earlier today, the lion's share, it's liquid for you to use, just like you said. So I think it's a great way of conveying it.
So the question might be, once we explain the problem and the solution, utilizing whole life insurance for financing, I always like to ask people a question I asked you earlier as we were kind of role-playing some recent conversations we've had and what you've been learning, what I've been doing, is if there were a pool of money that you could continue to contribute to that had guaranteed growth and payout for your family, income tax-free, and more of that growing income tax-free money was available to you, cash value cup 2, to use, lose, or abuse without stopping the growth of your dollars. Income tax-free, there's always going to be more. How much of your money would you put there?
As much as possible.
There we go. As much as possible. Now, we got iPhone out there in Bama. We got Jake's Big C saying it's a great tax vehicle. Why don't you talk about some of the tax implication, advantages, disadvantages of utilizing whole life insurance in IBC?
Sure. So from the start, since whole life insurance predates the IRS, the tax code, etc., it's a completely different type of asset. So we're going to use already taxed dollars to fund our policy with. Premium dollars are already taxed dollars. So the growth that we experience in this properly structured policy is technically tax deferred, and yet we can access it tax-free via the policy loans. And then ultimately that death benefit will transfer to whoever we designate, also tax-free. So it's a system that creates tax-free access during our lifetime, our whole lifetime, and an even greater windfall tax-free to the next generation. So for sure.
Does that make sense for you? That's what we are learning to help people understand. Every other vehicle you are probably using today does not have that type of tax advantage. That tax preferential treatment is happening over in your qualified world, but we are exempt in this unqualified world. You guys got it? So if you draw a line down the middle, most of us know about qualified plans, tax advantage treatment, tax deferred treatment. Life insurance is not a function of tax code. It's not income. So when we decide to use this policy in the way that we share and show cash value loans, no new taxes. No new taxes. Growth, guaranteed. Liquidity, no new taxes. It's a beautiful thing. Now, if you didn't know that, ladies and gentlemen, we'd love to share it with you on a one-on-one friendly call here. We've got free cash consultations. Go ahead and click this link twice, I think. Pop, pop. That avatar will take you to our regular TikTok page. And once you're on there, there's a big link in the middle. Click that link, schedule a time with us. We'd love for you to watch our video. It'll pop up right away, and then talk to one of our coaches. Jesse, you and I have talked to a lot of people. I want to know the best of the best and the worst of the best in the last couple of weeks.
Okay.
What are people asking you these days?
Some great things here recently would be actually some family conversations like what you were talking about. So folks that have caught on to this idea, current clients that already have maybe even more than one policy on themselves, and because they do, they begin to think broader about larger family implications. So they begin thinking about building that system of policies where maybe they're encouraging or considering getting a policy themselves on a family member to scale out that system, which is always a fun conversation to see people take it to the next level. Financial independence and autonomy to the next level.
But don't forget about this. Some people out there are reminded that at the core, life insurance is a protection unit. It's a financial vehicle that's guaranteed to be there. So I was talking to a client who'd been with us for a while and recently had to bury a parent. This past week or two, they had to bury a parent. Now, this parent did not have all the ducks in a row in a financial area. So this person is coming out of pocket, grown person coming out of pocket. They're siblings, but I don't think they could contribute as much or as emotionally available or whatever. They were taking care of all of those arrangements. And remember that life insurance, although being financed and used and loosed and abused, whatever it is that we're saying here to try to be cute, remember life insurance is still a protection deal and it's guaranteed to come out. We always say your friends, family, church, and charities will get this money. And in most states, there's no taxes at all on your family inheriting this money. It can potentially be taxes if it's a big enough number or it's a part of a large estate and there's lots of millions of dollars coming. They may have a hit somewhere here or there. But life insurance in of itself is not an income generating deal. What we're doing is we are offsetting a loss and we're being made whole. So this person was reminded how powerful death benefit is. Not even the banking or the quality aspect. They lost a parent. They're grieving. They need time. And guess what death benefit does? It buys you some time. Buys you some time to cry a little bit. Buys you some time to go see family. Buys you some time to bring some family to the final events, of paying respects maybe. All those types of things can happen because you're able to now get a windfall of tax-free cash to that family. And that can be so helpful, especially we don't think about it much because we haven't died yet. I've not died so far.
Not yet.
And most people die at an older age than 40, 38, 39, 40. Most people who buy life insurance also, because of their health, because of their long-term thinking, generally don't die early. And the regular population without life insurance probably dies a little bit younger. That's probably a weird thing to think about. That's a whole nother topic.
It's interesting.
Yes. So people with life insurance, where I was going with that, people, when we're talking about death, dying, the payout. Think if you do die young. So if you do die at our age, we have little kids in the house.
Yeah.
Okay, both of us, we got little kids in the house, and we're both married. Mom would have to take care of things. If we died tomorrow, Mom might need to go back to work. Mom has kids that she's taking care of right now. We're here, so Mom's taking care of kids right now. And that money, death benefit, not even the banking aspect, but remember, it is life insurance. And most of you are underinsured or non-insured at all.
Yes.
Remember that this is going to take care of your family Let them breathe a little bit. Pay off some debt now that mom's got to go back to work, whatever it is in your familial situation. But I think that's important to remember too.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I guess the one other thing that comes to mind is as folks do acquire other assets and things throughout life that are not nearly as liquid as life insurance. I mean, you'll just see this. This is just human nature. Weddings and funerals bring out some family fights. So I hear.
Of course. Yeah.
So I hear. So when it comes time to, splitting up stuff or following out people's wishes, having a liquid windfall of capital from a whole life policy makes splitting up land or other assets so much easier because here you have this big liquid chunk to even things out and smooth things out.
That's a great point, Jesse.
Yeah.
Great point. Yeah. So we have businesses. Okay. We're obviously working in business here today. I own a couple businesses. I'm partnered in a few things. And life insurance payouts, windfalls, death benefits would make that a whole lot easier.
Smoother transition, yeah.
I'm pretty sure my wife of 4 children at home, 9-1, is not interested in being in business with all my partners next week.
Right.
But she's very interested in the money that the businesses would generate for her or could have generated that I was around. So life insurance on business partners or in business liquidate everybody's need to be involved in the land, in the business, in the car. We can now pay you out and you can go move on to something else, greener pastures for you, now that we've lost someone who was worth some money. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. If you're liking, loving, or learning anything, double tap on our screen right here. The Cash Compound TikTok family, welcome. We're glad you're here. You can ask us questions about the infinite banking concept, whole life insurance, and cash value growth. That's what we're here. So ask us a question. We'll tell you no lies. You might be very well surprised about what's going on. If you like or learn something, please do share this as well. I think I'm pointing to it on your screen. That share button, that arrow pointing will help more people understand that they can save and spend money at the exact same time. What's up to our YouTube family out there, our Zoom family, going live 3:30 Eastern time each week on Zoom, on YouTube for this coaching experience. Ask us anything out there. Who's got another question, thought, or concern? We are glad you guys are here. Are you ready to learn about money? If you are, if you'd like to save more, keep more of your dollars, you're in the right place. That's what we talk about here. Okay, I wanted to mention another call that I had recently. I was on someone else's podcast. We use this studio for podcasts. Go ahead and check out some of our EPs wherever you like to listen to podcasts. And as I was on this investor podcast, Kingdom-Minded Investor podcast, look forward to that video coming out soon. Stay tuned. Good dude. I met him in Phoenix last month, and last week we talked when he was back home in his area of Louisiana about leveraging this policy for real estate. Okay, so we're now off the death benefit. We're very talking about being alive. We're going to leverage this policy for real estate, and he was trying to figure out how the returns worked. And I had to remind him that we might be missing the problem. This is from the pool from which you do your investing is important, and that's what we're going here first. Okay, so what we chatted about on that one a little bit was reminding people that the alternative to warehousing your money for 99% of us out there to whole life insurance, which we are convinced is the ideal asset, is just a bank savings account. This is not a comparison of returns. How do you feel?
Yeah, it's not a comparison of returns. We can talk about investing. That's fine. We're not giving investing advice. But your bank, where you warehouse, where you build up, where you accumulate capital, is going to be somewhere, whether it's a coffee can, right? Whether it's under the mattress, whether it's that savings account or checking account, like you're saying. For most people, that's where it is. We don't question it because that's just what we're told to do. But there is a superior place.
There is. Now, if you understand that, you'll probably get there faster. I like to save my money inside whole life insurance premiums because they're guaranteed to grow in cash flow, as we show you in the 3-cup setup. And I'm still going to invest. But now I have permission to spend money without losing my own. My premium contributions are still in cup 1, still holding my policy. I've got collateralized equity that I'm going to go use because I still got a policy with them and they owe me money. So when folks start to understand this as your alternative savings vehicle, This is where you warehouse your money.
Mm-hmm.
Then they're going to be able to fly past the person who, like my friend, can't wait to see the episode, thought on his podcast, he's trying to figure out return comparisons. It's like, ooh, you missed the problem. So you're landing on a wrong solution.
I like asking questions about characteristics. Think about the coffee can, think about a savings account, and just begin to ask yourself questions. I would say this is just one approach that I like. Ask yourself questions about that entity, like who owns the bank? Who owns the coffee can? Okay, well, with a coffee can, I've actually got ownership. But with a bank, maybe they'd pay me some interest. It's pitiful, I understand, but maybe they'd pay me something. With a coffee can, no interest, no growth, right? So maybe I've got ownership here, but I could have some growth there. Well, with a whole life policy, just those two, and I think we could list over a dozen, but just with those two, we have ownership and guaranteed growth. So that's two just right out of the gate.
Love it.
You know?
I'll go with some more.
Yeah. All right, go ahead. Give us
Control.
Yeah.
You've got control. That's a big one. Control. Unrestricted loan access. So that means you don't have to pay it back. You don't have to pay it back with any particular interest rate. You don't have to pay it back today or tomorrow. You have full control. Unrestricted. Okay,
Not
here's another
asking
one.
Permission.
Maybe we should just go back and forth. What's your next one? Your next feature.
But I did already give two.
You gave two. So my next one that I'm going to get, it is a private asset.
Yeah.
It is private, so it is unlitigable, if that is the right word. You can't be sued out of it in 9 states out of 10.
Well, see, now you just one up to me because you technically gave two. You said it's private and it can have protection against litigation. So now you're one up in me.
All right, go for it. Jump back in, Jesse.
Oh, okay. I think a big word on people's minds nowadays is inflation. So think about this. Every single dollar that we put into Cup One via premium creates guaranteed multiples in the future. What better way can we address inflation, which is out of our control? We're not saying how many digits or how many dollars are printed or created, right?
No.
But we can begin to control our own private economy.
I love that. That's a good one. Okay, so let me give you another one. Oh, how about this? How many of you out there have double tap on the screen if you've heard that life insurance has a terrible, terrible interest rate, terrible growth rate, terrible investment rate? Double tap on the screen if that makes sense to you. If you're here for the first time, welcome. We teach the infinite banking concept on the Cash Compound. We're doing a live experience. I'm sure we all have heard that, right? Life insurance is a terrible place to store money. Okay, very good. It's a terrible place to store money. The growth is terrible. I disagree. I think that it is a super high savings account because it's not an investment at all. So I agree with you if you're comparing it to some sort of investment that you assume or guarantee is going to have 8, 9, 10% or 50% return. This is not an investment.
Right.
So in terms of savings, what are you making at your bank account, Jesse? I still have a bank account. I still have, my wife's still swiping here at Costco and Amazon, right? So do you have a bank account?
Yeah, sure. What is it, like 0.025?
There we go. And some of these banks out here, we know we're working with savvy people on the internet out there. You can find a bank now, online bank, that's going to give you something like 3, 4, 5%.
Hey, I'm seeing CDs make a big advertising comeback.
Yeah, they are, because the interest rates are going up, right? But this is a savings environment. So a savings environment is not 8, 10, 15%. That's not savings. That's probably some sort of investment vehicle. In terms of high rate of return on savings, this kills it. So there we go.
All right. So the characteristic I would add after that is, yes, so a significant growth as a savings vehicle. It's a consistent savings, meaning that it doesn't matter if it's a weekend, doesn't matter if it's a holiday, doesn't matter. It's contractually going to go up consistently. It won't do it this year and then not the next year and that kind of a thing. It's going to be a consistent growth.
There we go. Okay, out there on the iPhone from Bama, we got Robinhood yielding 5% right now. Yeah, see, there are some online things that are climbing up like crazy. I remember that I had a savings account, an online savings account in 2005-06 when I was getting out of college. That was ING Direct. Who remembers that one? The Orange Lion. I think eventually it got bought by City or Chase. Was crazy because they had CD rates too, but I was saved. I think I even did some short-term CDs.
Okay.
Because it was all online. It was all a new thing. Like you can save your, because me and my buddy had $5,000, $10,000, from working. We were out of college and you didn't need all your money. Back when you remember when you didn't need all your money?
Right.
The first couple of months out of school when you went from being completely broke and then you got a job and then you're like, dang, I got all sorts of, you remember because last week you had no money and now they're paying you $30,000-$40,000 a year and you're like, I don't need all this, right? Hanging out with my friends, going on vacations and, hanging out on the weekend, seeing every movie, all that type of stuff. I was finally out of college. Anyway, so I got up to like 6.25% on savings.
Okay.
On this online bank, and then could beam it down to your checking account. But we were killing it. We thought we had arrived, and then 2 years into that deal,
well, the money wasn't as inflated then either. Though I'll point that out. 20 plus more years of inflation.
Right. So those dollars were stronger than our dollars today. They were less inflated at that point, but we were getting a savings rate of up to like 6.25% at one point, because you were getting like a 4% every month. I think it was even monthly, crazy, because it was an online bank, so they had no infrastructure, in terms of brick and mortar. And if you put it in a CD, you could get like 6, because there was like doing 3 months, 6 months, 9 month CDs. So if you wanted to lock up some of it, we're like, hey, this is our saving. It was our savings money. That's not the money me and my buddy, my housemate, that's not the money we were actually using to buy groceries for the house.
I got you.
Yeah, so we were killing it. You'd never say, wow, what a terrible investment. Because that was my savings money.
Savings account. Yep.
That was my savings account. Yeah, very good. Okay, we got a question over here on TikTok. Remember, you can follow us at The Cash Compound, everybody out there. Oh, we've got some on YouTube as well. Jesse will get to those. I'll get to the TikTok one. Jamie says, is the monthly payment for life? Number one, who said it was monthly? It's whole life insurance. How long do you think we should be paying for it? But you can pay annually as well. Great question. There are 4 modes of payment. You can pay your Netflix annually. You can pay your Netflix monthly. Company don't care. So first off, remember that. Second, remember every dollar you put in will compound and grow. I've got another feature that I can't tell you yet because me and Jesse are going back and forth. But I have another feature about the compounded growth guaranteed that's happening for your life, giving you more and more pools of liquid capital to use. So are you sure you want to stop it, Jamie? If that's what you're asking me. I'm not really sure. But is the monthly premium for life? Do you want to stop something that never stops compounding? Do you want to stop contributing? Because you can. But I still wanted to ask that question. You don't have to actually pay for it for life. The policy is good for life. It'll be enforced for life. It'll keep growing, the kind we set up for life. But you actually could cut it off. We'll have that conversation when we get to it. I don't think we should predetermine that we should cut it off. That's my thought on that one. Most of the time, we're going to pay that premium for life, and you ain't going to have no problem with it after we talk to you and tell you what's up. Appreciate that question. Hopefully that answered it. Double tap on the screen if that helped you get an answer.
Very pertinent question. I like it. All right, so Santosh asks us, any idea or advice about, and here's where I'm not sure, and you might have to help me clarify your question, but about internships for one thing. Not sure if you're asking for an internship with us, but let's see, quantitative developers, okay? So I don't know if you're trying to describe what field you're in and you're trying to ask me what to do.
Jesse, please tell me you see that our producer has put the definition on the screen.
He's way ahead.
They're killing it because I'm looking at it too. Is it Will? It might be Ryan. Ryan.
It could be Ryan. Okay, yeah. Will, Ryan, appreciate you both, but I'm still not sure.
we need a definition for a definition.
What the question is?
Hey, Santosh.
Do I have advice about quantitative developers or quantitative research? No,
I do not.
I don't. or internships. No, but I'm just okay. Are you saying that you're in that field? And then you have a question about infinite banking, so make sure to clarify that.
Yeah, does it have anything to do with what we're talking about? Or are you just hunting because you need a new opportunity? I don't know that I got something on the tip of my tongue for you. All right, but there's another comment.
Yep. All right, so Daddy the man asks, so what am I doing with this life insurance policy? I'm just having our savings account. It's not growing any interest or cash value at all. Seems like 2 separate questions. Do you have a policy? If you have a policy from us, it is growing. I'm not sure why you got the policy, what your intention was behind using the policy. And then the second part of the question, I'm just having it as, if you're just using it as a savings account, that's great. I mean, if that's your position, if you bought this as the ideal asset, because that's where you want to build up capital, that's where you want to save your money, beautiful. That's a great position to be in. Be well capitalized for either emergencies in the future or opportunities in the future.
Right. So I'm going to answer it completely different. I love doing these lives and getting the same question and going at it from two different angles. This is what I'm assuming. I'm assuming that this policy that Daddy the Man 3 is talking about is a policy that Daddy the Man 3 does not have. He's just talking about it generally. So I'm just having our savings account. So remember, the dollars you contribute, premium, cup number 1, is compounding, growing, cash flowing. There will be growth. There will be cash value. We are suggesting that if you think of it in terms of a savings account today, rather than an investment, you'll realize this is the superior tool to store money than the things you're probably doing, like a bank account. If you've got money sitting around in a bank account, you are missing out on lots of features here. And then if you'd like to use this tool, now you have a bank to work from, and it's only going to make the tool way more efficient and faster.
Now, that second question or that second comment does clarify. So you're looking for cash value, and your company doesn't offer cash value. Listen, folks that are turned on to this idea of becoming your own banker or saving and spending your money at the same time, listen, I was there. When I was exposed to this idea, I actually already had whole life insurance, but I'd gone to the box store agent at the box store and just had plain Jane policy. We custom build our policies for your particular use, your particular intentions and plans. So yeah, if you just go to somebody randomly online or local in your town, you say, hey, I want one of those high cash value policies. They'll probably try and sell you something. They'll probably write you a policy. They're very happy to do business, right?
Yeah.
But if they're not personally implementing this process, if they can't coach you through it, I'm just going to suggest it'd be nice if you could work with somebody who can share their best practices of 9+ years of actually doing it themselves.
Yes. So your company is offering you life insurance. Maybe they own it. Maybe you own it. Maybe they'll give it to you. Maybe it goes away if you stop working there. There's lots of different types of life insurance at regular companies. It's not the kind built for cash value, is what we're saying. So if you want a policy like that, it's going to need to be customized, custom built. It will have cash value right away. You'll have access to be able to use that for stuff. That's not what your company offered you. Okay. Yes, there we go. The Banking Bros, Banking Bros. Love it. That's what we do. That's what we set up for people. And there's nothing wrong with the policy your job gave you, right? God forbid you die tomorrow. There's going to be death benefit on that. Maybe you'll have to split it. Your spouse or your heirs or your beneficiary will be splitting it with the company. Sometimes the company owns it. They pay for it. It depends on what type of company, but whatever. There's lots of different types going on. But I promise you it was not built for infinite banking. If you're wondering and you're asking us, then it wasn't. You'd be aware.
And we'd like to hear from you. I mean, I appreciate that last comment there about what we're doing. So yeah, make sure to check out our free presentation, links in the bio, and then jump in our calendar where we could answer your direct questions. I mean, keep asking questions here. Yeah. We're happy to address as many as we can, but we can have a private conversation.
All right. We got a bunch of people commenting today on YouTube. Remember our YouTube family out there, maybe even Zoom. If you're on the Zoom, saveandspendsystem.com. If you don't see the link, that's where you want to go. Saveandspendsystem.com. Videos waiting for you, 55-minute video. 1 hour will change your complete financial future, this generation and the next. And book a time right below that video. Book a time for a coaching call. Free.
Do me a favor. So that most recent comment on the YouTube, that is from my buddy Ruben.
Rubes.
So I'm his coach.
Oh, okay.
But I'd actually like you to answer his question just so he can hear it from a different perspective.
Ruben, that means Jesse been telling you the answers to the questions like this. You ain't been listening.
Just give him.
You ain't been listening, Ruben.
Give him what you got.
Okay, here we go. Ruben says, "What if you have started a policy for paying off debt? Is that?"
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ruben's acting like, "Hey, asking for a friend." Asking for a friend, right? Ruben,
that's why I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Let him.
What if you've started a policy for paying off debt and an emergency comes up? Okay, so let's visualize that for 10 seconds. Now I'll keep going.
And we're good. He'll text me, and we have good conversation. I love talking with Ruben.
Okay, Ruben has paid some policy. Somebody else has paid some policy. I don't know what that means. Sorry, but family call here. I got 3 screens going on. Okay, so premium has bought a policy, secured a benefit for the family We're using cash value. Let's go today for debt payoff. An emergency comes up. Okay, now the car is out. Somebody's hurt. Something. We need to get to cash quickly. Okay. Is it wise to tap into the cash value of the policy for the emergency, or another way to let cash value build up? Reminder, your cash value is going to keep building even if you take all of it, because cash value is the result of the compounding from your premium. Okay, so you might have to liquidate. Yeah, right. We got an emergency. We got debt payoff. Things come up. Life is going to happen here, and some of that life costs money, right? Number one, you're in charge. You get to decide that, okay? You get to decide, but let's say that by nature of the question, I assume your emergency is going to throw off your debt plan, because that's why you're asking. You're like, oh no, like I now need to pay for an emergency. Is it wise to tap into cash value of the policy for the emergency, or find another way for the cash, or let the cash value build up? That's really up to you. You're the banker. You're in charge. In most cases, me personally, I'm going to try to utilize cash value if I can, so I'm not maybe putting on a credit card. We got to ask what the alternative is. And if I'm putting money on the credit card, then the interest will not be coming back my direction. The interest goes off to the credit card people. So is that a helpful answer? If you have to tap into this pool, cash value, liquid pool for emergencies and debt, and the emergency supersedes your debt plan, I'm probably slowing down my debt plan and going to like minimum payments. I don't know if that's your situation or not, but that's probably how I would handle it. I don't love, in most cases, getting into maybe a borrowing situation or a credit card situation outside of my policy.
Out of necessity.
Out of necessity. Now I'm paying interest to that person. Now, I might be able to go ahead and put it on the credit card, right? Grandma died. We all got to fly the family out there. I don't know what your emergency is. I'm going to put that on the credit card, because I might be able to pay off that credit card, maybe even with cash value in a month or 2 or 3, right? Then you can recoup the interest back to your policy because you've paid off the credit card. See, there's a couple ways to think about this.
For sure.
And it's custom. So
let me lay a filter on it then. Okay. So one way that I would consider addressing a debt payoff scenario, because I've been there. That's how I got started with Infinite Banking.
Okay.
Was I had about $50,000 worth of credit card, student loans, the car note, all that kind of stuff. I would encourage folks, consider not liquidating all of the capital from your policy. It's available and you can, right? And I understand the idea of being laser focused on knocking the debt out.
Yeah.
What if you kept some reserves in the policy, anticipating the unknown, right? So maybe you don't make a max loan. Maybe you figure out some percentage that works out for you, and you say, you know what, I'm only going to use 50%. I'm only going to use 90%. You pick what works for you, right? You're the banker. But you can always leave some reserve emergency type capital in the policy too.
I love it. B West has got a question on TikTok at the Cash Compound. Follow us at the Cash Compound on TikTok. But I'll even say, in my mind, my cash value, last resort, first option, that is actually emergency money in my family. That's actually what it is baseline. This is where I save liquid emergency dollars. And once I'm good with my amount, or my wife is good with our amount, then the debt can be paid off with the rest. Then opportunities can go to the rest. We need a baseline, and we save our money in whole life insurance aggressively in my household. About 30% of all my income made it to policy premiums last year. And first line is defense. What amount do you need if there's an emergency? So I don't like to. I learned this from someone else, but it was a great thought game and process that I had last year, that this person who was teaching and coaching and walking through a lesson in cash value thinks of it as their savings money first. And they call it that before they talk about their opportunity fund. And so 30% of cash value has got to stay there. They do not like to leverage past 30%, because that 30% is emergency. So if they see an opportunity that's beyond 70% of their cash, they can't participate, because 30% of total cash values needs to be emergency in their household. And I thought, I like it. I like it. B West.
What's the golden rule? He who has the gold makes the rules.
B West, ask a question on TikTok. A couple questions on TikTok right quick. Is cash value the exact same amount as what you put in? Cash value is what your money is growing into without messing with your growing. Cash value is a separate pool. Okay. In our example, visually, it's probably great to see it. Double tap on the screen if this makes sense. Premium buys death benefit. Cash value is how much of that death benefit we could leverage by calling the company. They owe us everything. Gross later, net now. Cash value becomes more and more and more than what we put in. That's why we love it. Mm-hmm. Okay, great question there. Another one's coming to us that way, but Rick, if you had $10,000 to invest, what would you do? I'll tell you, I do have $10,000 to invest. Cash value dollars. I take loans for my policy. My money's still good. Ask B West. And I put this mostly into private money deals. Friends and family with deals that I like or can collateralize, or something like real estate where they're swinging hammers and flipping things. That's what I do. One of the reasons is because that's very passive, and I can't be active in my investing right now. My investment is time and energy into this business, helping people understand. So I got to be super passive on $10,000 going out there to make money, and I like to do private deals. Great question. Love it. Let's go back to YouTube.
Sure. Marvin asks, if I wanted to insure another healthy adult body, the funds are mine, sure, and I want to own the title, the policy, sure. What are some no's that could possibly not get coverage approved? So the answer is going to essentially be the same for anybody, meaning there's a medical screening, there's an application, we send that information off to the insurance company, and they will approve you or not, right? I think, though, what you're asking perhaps should be addressed this way. Depending on who you're wanting to own a policy on is called insurable interest. So I own policies that are not on me, my wife, my children. Those are prime examples. So we can own policies on other people, sure, but there also must be an insurable interest. So as long as you have an insurable interest in that person, they would go through the same process as anyone else. We have a paper application that we fill out over a phone call with our app specialist. Then we would have a medical screening. You stand on a scale, pee in a cup, they draw a little blood. They'll ask you about marijuana and medications, all those things, right? That's the medical.
Marijuana and meds. I like that.
Right.
Alliteration.
Okay. And then they'll approve you or not, right? So, I mean, that's what the process would look like. I hope that's helpful. Make sure to ask another question if you want to dial in on something. We just had another question. It disappeared on me.
Yeah.
It was about premium. I saw it. Somebody was asking about premium. Do I have to pay this amount? Do I have to pay that amount? That's a very common question. We don't pick your number.
We're going to help you arrive there, but
sure.
Premium is level. You get to decide it. It'll always buy insurance, but you can pick it. Okay, but we want it to be ongoing. So you want it to be as big or as small as you're going to be comfortable with getting inside a policy. That will grow for you forever. Okay, we're back to Charles Rhodes says, hey, be very careful, and you need to do a lot of research and due diligence to do correctly. Well, here's a reminder. You don't put the policy together. So if you work with people who do, you can read the contract that they provide for you, and we have that as a complimentary part of the education and overview. So you are correct. Let me tell you 3 things that might be helpful to you. Number 1, in policy setup for infinite banking. Where'd you buy it? Mm-hmm. Mutual insurance company that pays dividends every year. That's all we use, and that's number 1. Say number 1 in the chat if you got it. Number 1, mutual insurance company that pays dividends as bonuses to policy owner partners each and every year. That's what you want to buy from. What are we buying from this company, Jesse? What's number 2?
Whole life insurance.
Whole life insurance. That's the kind that's guaranteed to grow and cash flow, last your whole life. And we're going to be able to, 3, leverage it on purpose for cash. We're going to design it so there is maximum cash growth for you. We're not going to wait around for years to be able to access it. It has to have a custom setup for early cash values so you can pay off that debt, get into your investing game, be ready for an emergency.
Mm-hmm. But you really should do your due diligence. That's true. We actually would rather not even talk with a prospective client unless they've checked out our free introductory presentation.
Do it.
Because we're not even on the same page until you do that due diligence. So make sure to check out our free
Yes.
presentation.
But the idea that most people, I think, off the internet might be thinking, and I want to be cautious about it, is we're not telling you that you have to work with us. We're not telling you have to buy it from a certain company. We're reminding you that those three things are very important when you've got a policy that you're considering or you want, and you need to work with someone anyway. You can't design those things. There always has to be an agent or a brokerage like us who work with several different companies. So that is what you should be looking toward. Work with someone who puts them together. That's what we do custom in our office day to day. We're a niche boutique booth, and that's what we put together. We will walk you through those things so you can ask all the questions, and you're not trying to figure it out by going to company websites. You'll never make it there. And you couldn't put it together if you wanted to. There has to be a third-party agent somewhere between you and the company. That's how it works. Okay. Okay. You've got an email here that you should probably take down.
Fantastic.
Bama had to jump up. You already talked to Bama, right? So this is a...
They're in our Facebook group now.
Oh, got it.
Good chance to talk about our Facebook
Well,
group.
if they're not assigned to someone already as a coach, we're going to check it out. Obviously, you can reach out on that one. Charles, you good? Charles, you with me? He just showed him my comment. Hopefully that was helpful to you. I don't know. If you're trying to troll me, I don't know if I missed something.
It makes me think of
Charles is not good. Got it. Charles is not good. Charles, what you need, man? Charles needs some love. Charles needs some help. Remember, life insurance is a guaranteed contract. Make sure you got the right one.
Mm-hmm.
And we're suggesting you work with someone who sets them up the way we're talking, which, by golly, might be us. We're going to walk and talk you through that.
At least let it be
stuff.
somebody who's actually implementing this concept themselves in their personal life. If you want to save and spend your money at the same time, if you want to become your own banker, at least do it with somebody who is actually doing that themselves, whether it's us or not.
Charles says, getting no lapse guaranteed VUL in term and investing the rest is the way. Whole life is the biggest scam. Good luck. Good luck. All right. Getting no lapse guarantee VUL. We're not going to use that for everything banking. That's kind of what we do here then. And term, that's just life insurance. So we're talking about the infinite banking concept. If you'd like to do something else, then go for it. Somebody give Charles some love.
Do the words no lapse, guarantee, and variable, do those even go together?
Apparently it can. So if you're able to,
that's my joke. I'm just
if you're able to fund your VUL to a point where it will be paid up, that's got to be what no lapse means. Or I've seen this before on IUL, where if you get to a certain point, you can have a paid up death benefit that can't go away. So if you pay for it long enough and you fund it well enough, then you'll have at least this amount of death benefit and it won't lapse on you. Why? Because universal life policies lapse. Right? So you have to get that provision on there. So I'm with you because they lapse. Whole life insurance doesn't do that. So
there could be instances where they're not funded enough. So sure, if you put enough money, you're saying into
right.
some
Then,
of these
that's
things.
what we're saying here. Charles is agreeing with us, right? No lapse guarantee rider makes it not lapsable. Well, whole life insurance doesn't have that problem because the fees never change, and the value, the surrender charge, the cash never goes backward or down. Obviously, it does in VUL. So TJ says, I tried to get my whole life, and they told me I couldn't take it out till 2 years later. That's because you were missing a leg, or you were in bankruptcy, or you had not cleared your blood work.
Because it wasn't built right? Didn't have the appropriate riders on it?
I love how we get on these things, and we see the same sentence and think two different things.
It could be that way.
You couldn't have whole life, or you couldn't be able to borrow from it for 2 years. The way I read it was you couldn't get it. The way he read it was you couldn't borrow cash value. If you do not get it set up for cash value, you're correct. It might be longer than 2 years. Mm-hmm. You won't have anything. Whole life insurance is so expensive. Well, VUL is expensive if you put more money into it.
how's whole life expensive when I pick the number that I want to pay? That's my question.
Because Charles
nobody
isn't
twisted
talking
my
about,
arm. I picked the number that
I put more in all the
pay.
time. True or false? We sat in here 2 days ago, last time you were around, and we were talking about how much more could I get in? How much more could I pay? How can I be underwritten for more money that I could put in? That's what we talked about.
Because it's always, you're wanting to grow in scale when you're doing this for banking purposes, because everybody deposits all that they earn into the conventional bank. You don't start that way when you're creating your own private banking system, but systematically over time, you build up that percentage of your cash flows that go into your private banking system.
All right, Charles says, VUL with no lapse guarantee is way less expensive unless you put more in premium into it. You've got to remember what you're buying. True or false? Ford and Ferraris both get you from point A to point B, and one costs a different amount. Why is that? Not a trick question, Jesse. Why do Fords and Ferraris both can get you from point A to point B? Why does one cost drastically different than the other one?
Quality could be one answer. Their intended purpose, what they're used for, what they're built for.
It's different. I have a question for you, Jesse. What's more expensive today, if I buy a home or get one for rental? Which one's more expensive?
If you buy one or get one for a rental, which one's more expensive?
Yeah.
I mean, renting is more expensive.
Today, just today. I need to buy a house or I want to rent a house for today. Which one's more expensive?
Renting.
So my question is, why would you ever buy if renting is more expensive?
Because you can build up equity.
Because there's a different thing that you're buying, right? It has more features. It has there's difference going on. Y'all with me? Okay, buying is more expensive. Well, I was trying to get him to say too. Jesse thought too hard about that, but it doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't matter because what is happening.
I see what you're saying.
You can just like everything else. You can think about it depending on how you're thinking about it. Depends on how you answer. Got it, Cecilia? What's going on? We've been ignoring you down here on Zoom. Remember, each and every Thursday afternoon, East Coast time, 3:30, we start an Ask Me Anything hour. We're about ready to wrap it up, but we got some great comments here, so we're going to jump back in to TikTok. That's where we see the comments. But Cecilia, who's on our Zoom, sorry we didn't have any special visuals for you today. We're always happy to do that for our Zoom community. You got to be ready for Zooms because we do different visuals sometimes. Jesse brings slides. I bring slides. We test them out for you guys before we take them to the public square. And remember, we've got events. We've got a video. We want you to watch that stuff by going to thecashcompound.com. I'm sorry. Yes, thecashcompound.com. Click the link in the bio. Save and spend system will take you to our video. Here we go. Jessica, what is VUL? Sorry, new here. VUL is variable universal life insurance. It's not what we endorse as the ideal asset for infinite banking. Infinite banking should be done, my opinion, strong opinion, should be done from a whole life insurance policy, from a mutual insurance company that pays dividends. Okay? And visually, we're going to pay premiums. That's the red cup, cup 1. We put dollars in, premium. It buys death benefit, cup 3. It must pay out pennies to buy their dollars. When you die, it must pay out. Cash value is the growing liquid equity pool of what you purchased with your money, what you purchased with your money that we can use, lose, or abuse. We can leverage these dollars while our money is still safe and sound, still going to compound. There's more and more of it all the time. A lot of people want to get on debates on the internet about what's the best tool for different things. And we've got to remind ourselves first off, what are the tools? What are the different things? And then decide what's the best tool for those things. So VUL got brought up a few minutes ago because somebody was trying to say, it was good for something else. It was good for cash accumulation. We're talking about leveraging the policy. Cash accumulation can happen in a VUL, but it is not guaranteed. That's for sure. TJ, where should we buy whole life insurance from? We suggest that you utilize a mutual insurance company. We'd love to introduce you because you need an agent or a broker to do so. So click the link in the bio. We'd love to get a free consultation call in with you, maybe 2, maybe 3, until you get your questions answered about doing it. Is that helpful? Love it. Okay, something else out here, I believe, Jesse's. Let's keep going a minute.
Sorry, I got distracted by the one comment there where permanent life insurance was referenced. That's such a loose term. I don't like using it.
So permanent life insurance also encompasses universal life products, and we have a strong opinion to think that is very incorrectly classified. So, and the reason for that is permanent makes you think it's going to be there when you die.
Yep.
And that's not exactly, it's possible that it was going to be there when you die, but if you live long enough, you're going to have to pay more for it. So many people don't really realize that about universal life products, all of them, universal life, VUL, IUL, EUL, or EIUL, depending on how you've learned it, or if you're 100 years old, you might think it's one of those. It's legitimate. But the problem is permanent life insurance tends to talk about universal. Whole life tends not to be talked about as permanent. And permanent life insurance, universal life insurance products actually cost more every year. So they can be in place when you die, but I sure hope you don't live to 100, because you're going to be realizing there's not enough cash in this thing. It has to cannibalize or eat itself, or I got to pay more money. But I'm 100. So how do I pay more money?
What a horrible time to lose what you thought was going to be an asset, because it had the illusion with that title of permanent, just to have that thing fall apart on you in your 80s.
Yeah,
the worst time
Most
to have
people,
something you were relying on to fall apart.
TJ, appreciate it. We'll check that email. I'm pretty slow at email. We'd prefer if you get on our calendar here by clicking links in the bio. But hey, email. Maybe you sent us something you want us to look at. Great, we'll get to it. Okay, appreciate you enjoying the answer, Jesse. Get over here from Marvin.
There was just a new comment here where Ruben had said, thank you for addressing the hypothetical question.
No,
he was the one that asked about
Marvin asked that one.
Insuring somebody else. Yep.
All right, guys. Without any more crazy questions, we are going to wrap things up. Remember, if you enjoyed what you saw here today and you learned something about the infinite banking concept, like, love, or learned anything, double tap on the screen and give me some love for my origami skills. I got more origami here. I made dividends as cubes, and I put them here. Okay. You guys got it?
You're essentially talent squared.
I'm working on it. Appreciate that comment. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, remember, we have got a live presentation in person, in person, Monday night. So if you see that event in the events tab and page, you can join it for a full walkthrough. April 1, baby. Okay. I'll be doing that one. I'll be live, walking and talking friends, family, church, and charity through step by step the infinite banking process with numbers. Okay, we're going to show you numbers, show you some math, help you understand how you can get out of debt, how you can invest, how you can buy cars with an infinite banking policy. Okay, why don't I just borrow money from my savings? Your savings doesn't have a death benefit. Your savings doesn't have guaranteed growth, income tax free. Your savings, if you take from it, is a withdrawal. So borrowing would mean you'd have to put it back. We can do that from a life insurance policy much more efficiently. Great question, Captain Bishop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. It's a big one to work through mentally, too.
Yes.
The idea that you could access capital and still be earning.
I did not understand it for 2-3 years of having the policy, my first one. So it's a great question. Appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, peace. We got to go. Mom, come pick me up. I'm done.
Thank you, Cecilia.
Cecilia, hope you enjoyed stuff out there. Oh, Cecilia jumped off right then. I guess they were listening.